Hello, it's Carrie, So Much Glitter. Welcome back to my channel. If you have not yet subscribed to my channel, please do so and turn on the notification bells and like and share to your crafty friends. Today I'm creating my Craft Roulette card for episode 291. I am a member of the Craft Roulette community, so I have until Thursday, and general submissions are until Wednesday. So I did write down the parameters because my other phone that I normally look this up on died after it updated. So the project this week is a postcard. The color is Easter basket, and the element is packaging. The random is shiny. So excuse me for my scribble over there, but I just wanted to quickly write it down. So I had a few different ideas for this. I wanted to at first do like a palette cleanser between Halloween and Christmas and do something completely non-holiday related. But then I really got to looking at the parameters and I was like, well, I have a good idea for this too. So I have some Christmas supplies out and beyond, and I have my newest Recollections Holly Jolly, the Christmas paper pad, and I have to tell you, I'm so in love with this paper pad. I bought the die cuts to go with it. In my app, when I happened to go in there, they were just setting this up probably about 2 weeks ago, and in my app it was 40% off. I think now back in the store they're still they're on sale. I haven't gone back. I just love this. I just picture myself cutting this out, and you could just do so much. Anyway, so I want to quickly flip through this just to show you a quick flip through, but I did choose one of these pages in here. Absolutely love anything vintage Santa that I thought would be perfect for this. Love these cut aparts, simple cards, right? Just really easy. And Michaels did a really good job with this one. These are not double-sided, but a lot of the Recollections are not. So you do get a lot more in them. I'm not a huge pastel Christmas girly, but I have to tell you, this vintage vibe really got me. So I love it. These gloves remind me of my grandma when I was younger. She used to always wear driving gloves, and they used to have a snap or a bow or something on them. So I did choose this, and I'm going to take this out now. I do have my tea sitting next to me because I am filming this in the morning before I go to work. So my apologies if things get in the way. I am going to make a postcard because the project is a postcard, but I'm going to be putting that postcard on a 5x7. And I always picture a postcard horizontal, right? So that's kind of how I'm doing it. So I have two different stamp sets that I could use. I have this one from Stampers Anonymous, and this was last year Christmas. Absolutely love this stamp set because it has postcard on here, and I thought that would be perfect. But I also have this one, and I really like this as well. See, love my vintage Santa. And this has a little postcard stamp on it, special delivery, things like that. I think I'm gonna go with this one because then I found a few more things in my stash, so we'll continue on. I have some leftover foiling sheets that after you're done foiling something, you tear it off and there's that waste. Never ever throw the waste away. I think I'm going to use this one, but I had a few more that I had pulled out because this is going to be my shiny element, and I really like these, but I think I'm going to set these aside, use those for a different day. And I have some Anna Griffin cut and emboss die cutting folders, and you know what, these didn't stay very well because they weren't glued down very well. So once they got some pressure on them, these just came right up. I don't know where this one went. It's in my stash. The Christmas tree is over here. I need to re-glue these down, but for the sake of time and today, I'm just going to go ahead and go with it. But I'm going to use Santa's sleigh, and that's gonna qualify for my packages because Santa's sleigh always has packages on it. And then of course I'm gonna be using Crafty Critta. So I did recently place an order from them. I am in the US, they are in Australia. It did have a little bit of difficulty getting to me, I'm not gonna lie to you, but those are just the kinks that they're working out with the tariffs right now. But it did get to me, and Scott and Michelle were very, very gracious on making sure that I got everything I ordered, making sure that it was packaged properly, and I'm so grateful that it was sent back to them so that could be done. So I did order more transfer carrier sheets because my other ones look worse for the wear. So this is about a 6.25, 6.25. So like perfect for a 6x6 card, but I'm going to be doing the A2 card on top of, or the A2 postcard on top of my 5x7. Colored toner sheets, you always need these. I ordered these in white. These come in all different sorts of colors. These come in tie-dye, these come in ombre. Crafty Critta has you covered. Go check that out. So I will link them below in my video. I have my Mama Mink next to me because she does not fit on this desk. I'm gonna turn her on, and I normally turn her on at about a 4. So the Mama Mink is a big like 12 by 12 machine. I have her over here to the side. I have a little table sitting next to me that I can kind of set her on. So she's going to be perfect over there. I just don't have enough room here, and I have some projects off to the side. I've got my tea going. My area is not as big as it used to be in my craft room. So I kind of do the best that I can, and we are just crafting away. So I'm going to get that out, and I'm going to use the white toner sheet. Now this is the Premier collection. So what I'm noticing about this compared to other ones that I have ordered is this is a little bit shinier. This is smoother, shinier, more like a photo paper, but it's not, because it's like silk. It's like a soft, like silk type, real smooth on the other side. I don't know how else to describe it. So there's that. I'm going to get out my carrier sheet, and they do sell their own toner foiling system if you were interested in that. I happen to have my mink. I love it. I'm going to stick with her. I've debated getting like a desktop mink, but because of my limited space, regardless, and this comes with 2 of them in here, I believe. Let's double check. Yep, this comes with 2 of them, so this is perfect. And this was fairly inexpensive for the US dollar, so I'm excited about that. And so this is just going to feed right through my Mama Mink with the folded side going into the machine. So let me get out my paper trimmer, because now I've just kind of made a mess. Now you hear that beeping, that means the Mama Mink is ready. And I'm also going to need to get out my die cutting machine, but I have a desk die cutting machine that's over here. And I have my grandson's scrapbook in the way over there. And yeah, we're kind of just crafting today. I work a little bit of a later shift today, so I was able to sleep in a little bit, but I'm going away this weekend. I'm very, very excited. I have a lot of work in between now and Friday morning to do. I'm filming this on a Wednesday. So like lots and lots of responsibilities at work. I have school responsibilities. I have stuff at home I need to do. I've been decorating for Christmas. Like, I just piled it all on top of myself. So I'm going to save this. I'm going to put this back in the package because that will be useful. And I am going to get out my handy dandy brush, because what I want to do is dust away any particles, dust, anything that could get in the way, because you know our craft room is a creative space. We have lots going on here. I'm even going to dust off the carrier sheet, excuse me. So losing words here. And then I'm going to continue to dust this off. I'm going to dust both sides of my waist off. This waist has been in my as you see, she is making some sounds over here. That's okay. I do have like cats and stuff, so I just want to make sure that I dust everything off. I'm just going to place this right in here. Just hold this, smooth it down, and now I'm going to feed this into my mink. And I really don't have to do a whole lot. She's just going to feed herself right on through. I'm going to take a sip of my tea while she's doing that. I do kind of guide it with my hand just so she doesn't get lost, or if anything gets jammed or crinkled, I can stop it and pull it back out. And there is a reverse function on the mink. I hope everyone is enjoying their day. And let me know in the comments below, are you Christmas crafting yet? As crafters, we've probably been Christmas crafting since July, right? So I'm just going to keep feeding this through. The one thing I love about the Mink is the heavy duty rollers in it. You can use a laminator. I'm not an experienced foiler with a laminator, so I wouldn't know how to guide you through that. I do know it takes a lot longer and the heating up process is a lot longer. I love my Mink. I can use her as a laminator. I've made bookmarks. I've laminated things. I really enjoy her because she's versatile. I like the 12 by 12. I can do scrapbooking pages. I can do whatever, but I love the heavy duty rollers that are inside of her. And my apologies, I do have my window open and it's a little bit windy, so it slammed my door. Okay, so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna turn off the Mama Mink because she will continue to stay warm. I'm going to open this, and what we want to do is we want to let this cool off. We want it to be cool to the touch before we peel off. It's already cool. I'm going to go ahead and set my carrier sheet off to the side, and then what I'm going to do is peel this away, and we can do the the magic will reveal here. This is not Crafty Crit of foil. This is more of just a basic crafter's foil. So it's really thin. I did order it off of Amazon, so it's not going to be the perfect foil. But look, now here is our waste. Now we can throw that away. So anytime you're crafting and foiling, do not throw away your... get out my trimmer. Do not throw away that waste that you would consider waste. Save it for later. Get a colored toner sheet, and then you can use that. This will adhere because this is toner, and then now it's fully used. Okay, so I'm going to cut this down. I'm going to trim this just a tiny bit because that was a little bit of an uneven cut for my foil, but no worries. I'm going to set that off to the side. Now I want it to look like snow is falling because I want to create kind of a scene, I think. Well, obviously, but I'm not going to go too in depth with the scene when I say kind of, I think. I'm going to cut this down to an A2, and that's how my postcard's going to be. I do not know the standard size of a postcard, but I want to put this A2 on my 5x7. That's what I'm going to do because I have a little bit of an idea. So we have 5.5 right here by 4.25. And most of the little uneven parts and scuffed parts of my foil, because it was kept in my stash for so long, kind of cut off from there. Okay, so this is just going to go right on top of here. Now, before you say anything, I know I said I don't like a lot of white space. You're right, I don't. But I want to create, like I said, a little bit of a scene here. So some things are going to be kind of on and off. So let's go with our next one. I'm going to set this off to the side because I don't think I'm going to use this, although I do love that stamp set. I am going to use this one. This one did come with, this was left over from the year before last. This did come with a stencil that I really like, and of course I can't open packages evenly, so that's how it opens. I'm going to use the Anna Griffin Cut and Emboss. They really do work really well. They just didn't stay glued, so I'm gonna have to, I guess, glue that down. All I want to do is cut this in half because I'm gonna use half of this, save half of this. I'm going to put it back in the paper pad. I'm going to use less than half of this, to be honest with you, for my folder. Now, since this one also isn't sticking in there, I'm going to get it out and just kind of measure it up against here. This is going to be the sleigh. Rudolph, won't you guide my sleigh tonight? So, the sleigh is going to be the reindeer, and that is how we are getting the Easter basket colors, because I have over on the A2 part of the card, I have the blue and the gold and the silver, and that could kind of be like Easter basket. Like my mom used to put fun colored grass in my Easter basket when I was younger. So to me, that's fine. Okay, so I'm going to set this in here. I need to get out my Gemini MIDI. And it just fits in there just like a puzzle. And I'm just going to set this down and close this. I need to get a few things out of the way. I did get a new frame for my grandson because, and here's his scrapbook from his baby shower that I've been filling in because mom and dad don't have time. So every year, this is the second year, holiday season in our family, and we are so grateful to have him. I like, you know, we take a fun picture of him, and I like putting it in a really neat frame. Oh, you know what? I don't know if this is going to be thick enough. I didn't even think of that. This might be too thick if I do 2 folders in one. So let's see. I never get my sandwiches correctly. Hold on, I might have to do this off to the side. I might need it. These 2 folders in one, that's not gonna work. I'm gonna have to shim it a different way. Hold on. I have been getting less and less use out of this MIDI and more use out of my Anna Griffin Empress. So I might need to use my Anna Griffin Empress for this. Okay, so I did have to get out my Anna Griffin Empress, and she's on the table next to me. So I'm gonna get out those plates for that. I used to really get a lot of use out of my Gemini MIDI. I'm doing a lot less die cutting now, and the die cutting I am doing now is more detailed like this. And so I just find that the Empress gets the job done. She's my queen of the craft room when I need to do anything die cutting. So I always put the embossing folder in here. I find with her products I don't really need to, so that might just be overkill, but I'm going to press run and it's just going to feed this on through. It's going to be a bit of a thicker sandwich, so I'm going to have to hold it to kind of guide it through. I use the embossing mat because you really get the image much more. Now this bows, that's fine. That's completely normal for a die cutting machine to do that. And even with it being a little bit wonky like this, we were still able to get a perfectly embossed, if you can see, a perfectly embossed image. We could do it that way if we wanted. We could do it this way. I am doing it this way just to give it a little bit more character and make it a little bit more fun and funky. You do with it what you will. So I'm going to leave these out on my craft desk to remind myself that I need to glue those down. Now the next time I go to use my die cutting machine, I'm going to, if you can see, these are going to bow. These are plates. That's what happens. They're acrylic plates. I've never had them crack on me. I've used them very well. I've had this since 2019, the Empress. I've only replaced my plates once, and I've used her a lot. Always cut into the bowl of the die cutting of the plates. So we're not cutting against. So we're not cutting where the hump is up, but we're cutting down where into the bowl is what we're doing. And I find that I get, it's easier on my machine. I get more even wear, and I get better quality results on my project. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I want to glue this down somewhere in the middle, and I do want to set this aside. I don't know where. My idea was, lots of ideas run through my head. To kind of have it everything's a hurt this morning. To kind of have my sleigh for my packages, remember our packages in our sleigh, to kind of have the sleigh going up that way. I think that that's a really cute idea. My Easter basket colors are going to be on my shiny element. My packages are in my sleigh. My project is the postcard. How do we know it's a postcard? Taking a sip, excuse me. because the stamp is going to say so. That's how we know. So I'm going to glue this down. I think I might even pop that up. And the postcard stamp is right here. I don't even know that this is perfectly even on here. I'm just somewhat of a guesstimator a little bit, and let's take this off and let me look head on. It's just going to be a little bit thicker on one side than it is the other, just because that's the nature of how I cut it down to an A2. And I was going to do my postcard stamp up here, but now that's looking a little bit odd to me, but I still could. I don't really want it to say postcard over here. Let's see, hold on. Let me get this how I want it. I could trim it down a little bit more if that's what I want to do. I just really kind of wanted the postcard to be stamped up there. And that's what I think I'm gonna stick with. Postcard stamped up there. I'm going to have this, it's Santa delivering his packages and Rudolph is helping. So Rudolph is that whole, like the fawn color, right? Like the color of nature. And that could be an Easter basket as well. Like I used to get a lot of like straw, wicker Easter baskets. I don't know like what material for sure that was, but you know, it's that, the woven Easter baskets. So that could be an Easter basket color as well. I have a lot more on here that we could do. Airmail is kind of fun because, you know, Santa's in the air. And just kind of something fun over here, a little bit more marks, and just to kind of symbolize that this is a postcard that's being sent off. I think that this is fun. This early for Christmas is fun. I could kind of just stamp that off halfway off, or there is 25 via North Pole. Heck, we could do both, right? And then I think I'm gonna put Santa's face in the middle. Okay, so let's, now that we have that mapped out a little bit, let's get our glue. And I haven't busted into my glue in about a week or so, so this might be interesting, but I did have the pin in it. Okay, and I do use the Line Co, like the PVA. Oh, it might be interesting because it's not coming out. Glue, and it works just as well. Like I have to get it really close to see. I have a doctor's appointment later, so this is going to be a real test for hand-eye coordination. If I can't do it, they're gonna worry. So there it goes. Yeah, this glue works just as well as any of the other crafting glue. I've used a lot of other crafting glues for paper that I do love. I'm partial to this though. This is just, oh, there it goes. I am partial to this because I can use it for junk journaling because this is like a bookbinding glue. I am going to put this down here and I'm going to try to adjust it the best I can. And we will go from there. And then we will do the stamping. I probably should have done the stamping before I put this on, but you know, I like to live on the edge. I wanted to make sure that it would all fit. So let me get out my foam pad for stamping. I love this thing. I have some stamp positioners in front of me. Let me get out my VersaFine. I love this VersaFine. My lid broke off. I've had this VersaFine forever. I bought this VersaFine when COVID first started. Like, I had to go, I remember going to go pick up my daughter from school, and I was not working that day. And they let them out early for the 2 weeks spring break, her senior year, the poor kids. And I went to Joann's after that, and that's when I bought this. She stayed in the car. Her and her friend stayed in the car kind of pouting, which, you know, that wasn't very sensitive of me, but that's what I was doing. So I'm just going to wipe that off, set this aside. And we had the other one, which I probably lost it here on my project, didn't I? Because, hey, that's what I do. The airmail is going to be somewhere on my desk. I'm going to have to find it. And that's probably going to take a second. I found it. It was stuck to my finger. And then I did get a knock on my door, but now the gardener's here, so you might hear over him, that there was break-ins in my neighborhood into cars over the past 2 nights. And like, reportedly somebody was trying to get or broke into my car, and my daughter's car is right next to my car. And I looked on my camera, and lo and behold, there is somebody trying to get into our cars. So protect yourselves. We did lock our car doors. Like, you know, we do that, and I have a camera, so that it picked up his face and it picked up his profile, so that's really going to help somebody that was broken into. So I'm grateful that I could help that way. But it just reminds us that we need to be really diligent, especially this time of year. And there's a lot of people that don't have other people's best interests, and there's a lot of struggling in the world right now. So we need to be really mindful of, you know, watching our surroundings. And I'm not saying because you're struggling, because I struggle too, that you're going to do things like that. That's not at all what I'm saying. I'm just as an example of, there are some people out there that don't care about other people struggling or not. So that's just like a solid reminder. I guess the police are in the neighborhood trying to gather footage, because it's like 5 cars over the last 2 days. It's kind of scary. Okay, so I'm just gonna stamp this down and just kind of stamp it off. I just think that that's something fun, just to kind of give it a little bit something. And as simple as this card is basically going to be, I want it to have a little bit of a story. I'm going to ink this up, and I think I am going to ink it in some red or some pink, because I really want to accentuate the Easter colors. So let's see, I have saltwater taffy, which would be fun. It might be a little bit bright. Abandoned coral is going to be way too bright, I think. I love this. I love Kiddish Flamingo, and I have a fuzz on there, but I really, really do love that. So let me look at Spun Sugar, which might be a little bit more appropriate, right? Because we don't want it to overpower. I like this though. Let's just make a bold statement today with our card. And Mary and the rest of the chatterbox can appreciate it. I do appreciate going through the gallery on Craft Roulette and looking at everybody's creations, watching people's videos. I really do enjoy all of that. Okay, so I'm just gonna lightly ink up the edges. I'm not gonna do it perfectly. It is what it is. I'm not really hiding anything because I didn't fussy cut this either. So like the edges are already all smooth. I don't need to kind of worry. Just kind of lightly ink it up, so it's just going to stand out just a little bit more. I'm glad I did that Kiddish Flamingo. I have this in the spray too. I absolutely love this color. It's fun. I am going to get out my foam tape, and I am going to pop that up. I'm going to keep out the Kiddish. I'm going to ink up around the card too, and then what we're going to do is put Santa in the middle. So let's just kind of get out my scissors. and cut this off. I always kind of, that's just kind of how I do mine. Put this back. My foam tape, I use the world's best foam tape from Pear Blossom Press. I love this foam tape. It just, the backing comes up so easy. I do need more, but she never has it online when I go look. I probably should have popped up a little bit right there so it doesn't fall. I don't know if that'll matter. Yeah, it's gonna bother me just a little bit. Sometimes I get fussy, sometimes I don't. It just kind of depends. I am on a little bit of a time crunch this morning because that might be too big. I don't know. Yeah, it's too big because I have other things that I need to get done before I scoot off to work. And I'm just gonna tear that up there. So it just gives it a little bit more stability. So it's not just getting smushed when it goes to mail. Okay, so here we go. I'm going to ink up the edges and then we're just gonna put the touch on the inside of the card. So now we have Easter colors in more than one way. We have Easter colors on our shiny side because we have that little bit of green and blue and silver, which I think is a lot of fun. And now I'm inking up the edges in this pink. And of course, pink always says Easter colors. Easter basket. We always have those pink jelly beans in our Easter basket, right? Jelly beans are my favorite. Well, the older I get, they can't be. So that's very disappointing. My teeth don't like that. I like it. So just to kind of knock back some of that white space that I don't always love, big, bright white space. But it is very nice for your cards. You can write a nice, clear, crisp sentiment. You can do a lot of stamping. There are benefits to it. So, okay, so let's put that away. Let's get out a good old St. Nick, and I am going to put his face right here because what is Santa delivering his packages in the back of the sleigh without an appearance from Santa Claus, right? What is the point of that? I might need my stamp. I might need my stamp positioner for this. But we are really going to live on the edge this morning. I'm gonna live on the edge and pretend like I don't need it. I'm gonna get out my foam, and that's really gonna help the ink make contact with the paper. We're gonna let it sit there for just a second. I'm not gonna wiggle the positioner around a whole lot. I'm gonna make sure that we are inked up and ready to go. Get back out my foam pad. You can use any foam, really, if you just have like the, you know, so the crafters foam at Michael's, whatever. So I'm just gonna throw this right in the middle. And I'm gonna try to put even pressure on it. And we're just gonna put this down for just a second. And there we go. He turned out fabulous. So if we wanted to put holiday greetings down here, we could, or up here. We could do that. Holiday greetings, 5 cents. That's really cute. What did we put? Postcard, mail early for Christmas, airmail, special delivery. That's what we're gonna put. This is a special delivery. So I'm just gonna put special delivery. I think I'm gonna ink up the card just a little bit more so Santa is highlighted. And I did bump the camera, my apologies. And here we go. Special delivery. I am going to put the lid back on my ink because I'm gonna get all inky. everything all inky. I'm just gonna add a little bit more around the Santa Claus, just kind of make Santa as the highlight of the show. And this will, I did some Christmas projects, I guess, during Christmas in July. I didn't really have a whole lot of time, so I was taking 2 classes at the time. So this is basically my first Christmas card. And see, that white space is bothering me just a little bit. Just gonna lightly ink up around it. Okay, so here we have our Craft Roulette for episode 291. The project is a postcard. That's like a postcard size. This whole thing is a postcard. The color is Easter basket. So we have the pink, we have the green, the blue, and the silver. Element is packages, and Santa is delivering packages on his sleigh. The random is shiny, and that is the foiling aspect that we did. And we open up the card, and Santa has a special delivery for us. So I hope you guys enjoyed this Craft Roulette creation. I'm gonna go ahead and post it in the gallery, and I will go ahead and post my video. So if you want to comment below, let me know if you started creating for Christmas. Maybe you're all done and you are just that prepared, but I hope you guys have a fabulous crafty day and take some time out for self-care today and do something creative. See you soon, guys. Bye.